Sorry, I got a line.
We are recording live. Your face is really close to the camera.
Oh,
Cloud Brothers, Cloud Brothers.
so I got a
Hi, Scott.
line.
How you doing?
Good. I got a line that I want to use.
What is it?
That's going to be.
What is it?
Thought about it for a couple of weeks now, and it is in the immortal words of Christian Bale to the crew member. Da 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 da.
Do I walk through here when you're trying to do your sound stuff? When you're trying to do your job?
Yeah, it's more.
And I'm all da. I remember that speech. He was really embarrassed about that, and the crew member was just like, "Come on, man! We're like it's a 16-hour day on a set. The guy's wet. The sound guy understood. And it's just like just a bad moment, and somebody unfortunately recorded it. Had the bad form to try to make money or whatever.
Got out on the interwebs.
And I heard that like shooting Batman's really hard because you're in all kinds of weird positions.
I'm gonna use that for my random comment now.
Nice.
The immortal words of Christian Bale. Da 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 da
da da da. And if you get it, you get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so for my unspecified secret mission. Okay, I thought I was hearing things for a second. I had to look at you. We're talking about Kubernetes. What's Kubernetes? Kubernetes is a open source version of Docker, which is a small. Basically, it's a small app that does like something an AMI might do or an instance might do, but just it's a little small program that can help you run your programs, your instances. So that's the AWS version. So that's the amateur, I'm just learning version. What you tell me what Docker is?
Well, Docker. Oh, so Docker. You gotta start from Docker.
Yeah, so it's
Docker, Kubernetes, Helm. You got Helm up there. So I read and I didn't listen. So there you go.
You got to listen. I was saying what Docker is, and I was saying what Kubernetes is. So what are those things? Explain that as a professional AWS.
The Docker and container stuff is new to me, but
well, you know basically what it is, though.
A Docker is a container which is similar to an AMI. I think you said that, where you run your software on a container, and it's not quite like a server. Like the Docker containers are kind of like to do a job. So say you want to run a Node.js thing, you can just have a Docker container that just gives you the output of your Node.js run. So you don't have to run the thing and build the thing and all that crap. And then, so containers, what we should actually look up is like the brief history of containers, because Docker is not the only thing for containers. And I just learned this while we were waiting. You got to search for the history of containers computers, because the history of containers, there's a whole bunch of shipping ones.
I'm not going that deep into it. But basically, containers, run your containers in this environment. Here's some container services. ECS, Fargate, EC2, Spot instances, like all this stuff. This stuff. When EKS distro, Red Hat, it's a big subject. So here's the use cases for it, right? Sorry, you said wait. What do you want to say?
The EKS is Elastic Kubernetes Service. So they have
so they'll use
Elastic Container Service, which is the Docker one, and then EKS is the Elastic Kubernetes.
But Dockers are the AWS brand of containers, right? They're not?
No.
Oh, I'm a little
No.
mixed up then.
Docker is its own thing. You gotta go, what is Docker?
What is Docker? I wonder how I got that. I must have been thinking of something else. Docker is a set of platform as a service products that use OS level virtualization to deliver software in packages called containers. Containers are isolated from one another and bundle their own software, libraries, and configuration files. They can communicate with each other through well-defined channels. Oh, Apache. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a repository.
It's the license, yeah. So, like, that's the foundation of all of it.
Yeah. So
you have to understand Docker before you understand Kubernetes or Helm, and it goes in that order.
Yeah. So here's Kubernetes for Dummies. So Kubernetes is an open source container orchestration system for automating computer application deployment. It was originally designed by Google and is now maintained by the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. Okay, and that's what we're getting into. So what Helm is a orchestration tool for Kubernetes, basically. And so yesterday, because I want to make some pet projects with this for my secret mission, I downloaded this version right here so I can use my local machine.
Well, you downloaded Helm.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, I should have waited till today, but because I knew we were going to be talking about this today. So there's instructions on how to do it. There's a quick start guide. Hopefully it's PDF. I can't remember.
So I'm embarrassed now. I'm gonna have to look at my shoes. So you downloaded the Windows version. Gonna get you on a Linux box or a Mac box, but
well, now
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. The Windows versus Mac people are.
So now I have there's my AWS version, right?
Yeah.
Helm. You just type Helm. So there's Helm. There's all the stuff I can do.
Right.
Right, and then well, I was gonna set up an instance, but I want to just practice on.
So in Docker language, it's a container, and setting up a Docker container is pretty easy. Have you installed Docker? Because that's
So, but if you look here, there's a description of all the environment variables that you can set up, like that you can manage. So you've already got all these things, and there's all kinds of templates that are in here. Well, I set the CLI, SDK. I set Helm. Not sure if I set Docker. How can I check?
I think I don't know on Windows. You gotta Google it. It's just Docker or something. And it might be a PS Docker or something. And you might have to download something called Docker Desktop to run on a Windows machine.
Get Docker for Windows. Get Docker Desktop for. Oh, okay. No, I haven't done that. But
So I think you have this installed, but well, actually, I don't know. It might do other containers. This is the thing.
It does everything. When I was talking to my new friend that I made on Monday, the advice I was given was that if you want to work with Kubernetes, if you want to make pet projects, Helm will do everything from beginning to end.
That's the bolt. Okay.
That's what he said. But I started looking at this yesterday, and so you can get this. I did have my Linux machine. I actually gave it to Brandon, but when he took it home and plugged it in, wouldn't start. So he brought it to his computer friend, and I guess during our last move, it just got fried.
Yeah.
Just moved around too much. So there are all kinds of tutorials, and believe they run off YAML files. But
everything runs off YAML files. That's one of the things for the super secret project. all I do all day long is configure YAML files. Used to be JSON files, but now if everybody wants YAML because it's just easier structure, less commas, all that crap. So most things have a YAML version, and I think
see, look at this.
100% of everything uses YAML.
This is one of the reasons that was mentioned why it's like a really good management software. Because Helm tracks your releases even after you've uninstalled them, you can audit a cluster's history and even undelete a release.
Oh yeah, okay.
With Helm rollback. But that site here, I should send you the link in Discord, or you could just look at, because this is where you get to all the information, right? And on this GitHub, you can you see there's all the Linux options, and obviously you could make a AWS instance and attach it to there. Just and I will once I figure it out. I just want to figure it out in a way that's not going to cost me money.
Yeah.
Which is why I downloaded it to Windows. But having said that, I do want to get a Linux box. What do you see?
No, you might want to. So Windows. Did you change to Windows 11 or not?
I did.
Yeah. So I think the Windows 11 Linux subsystem, which is running Linux on your Windows box, isn't bad. I think you can do all the same. You could do it for free on your computer if you pull up Google and type in WSL, Windows 11.
WSL, Windows 11.
No, WLS, sorry. My dyslexic. WLS.
That's a Mugwort trait. I always transpose letters and numbers. The best part about Windows 11 is a revamped Windows subsystem for Linux.
Yeah, so you do some configuration in your Windows box, which you can do not right now, but you can do some configurations on your Windows box, and then you can run Ubuntu. It looks like you can run GUI Ubuntu on your Windows box if that's what's going on there, because that's Ubuntu under there. And then it says Windows at the top. So I'm quite shocked that I might try Windows 11 just because you can get a GUI Ubuntu.
There you go. Installed.
Yeah, so you could just type Ubuntu.
No, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. Well, it's waiting to do something.
Is that how you start it? No, I don't think that's how you start it. Maybe.
Don't know.
Go search how to start. Oh no, it's in your start menu. If you go to your start and type and go Ubuntu, if it's installed, it's like a program for you. Oh no, it worked.
No, finally did it. This message is shown once a day. To disable it, please create the home hush login file. So now I'm in a Linux subsystem.
Ubuntu, right? I think. Yeah, because you typed Ubuntu, so you're in the Ubuntu subsystem. So apt-get update and all the Ubuntu things will work. So
it must have been installing the rest of it, which is why it took so long. Because here's all the documentation, how long it took.
Anyway, there's your free Ubuntu or free Linux.
Well, there you go.
There's also different versions as well. You can get Debian, Arch, I think probably more now with Windows 11, but you can get different flavors of Linux as well.
It's sort of fascinating because AWS CLI is installed in my command line, but as you can see,
installed there, yeah, different environment.
How do I get back? Do I just close out this window and reopen the command line to get back?
Exit.
Just exit? Just type exit?
Type exit.
Oh, okay. Then I'm back, and then I'm back in, I don't know, whatever.
PowerShell.
PowerShell?
It's Windows. you're in Windows. Oh no, you're just PS. See, it's PS right at the beginning.
Wow, print screen. I should stop that.
Yeah, control.
It's gonna go for a long time.
Yeah.
All right, but we could look at this video a little bit.
But we digress.
In this video, I'm gonna explain all the main concepts.
I was watching this today too, actually.
So that you're able to use it in your own projects. Also, Helm changes a lot from version to version. So understanding the basic.
Can you hear?
I can't hear it. I gotta watch the other one.
Yeah, you gotta put it on the live. But basically, she said, while I'm waiting for it, it's not playing right now. Main concepts of Helm. Helm changes a lot between versions, so understand the basic common. And that's all I got because I don't know the rest. You ready? Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Common principles and more importantly, its use cases to when and why we use Helm will make it easier for you to use it in practice, no matter which version you choose. So the topics I'm gonna go through in this video are Helm and Helm charts, what they are, how to use them, and in which scenarios they're used, and also what is Tiller and what part it plays in the Helm architecture. So what is Helm? Helm has a couple of main features that it's used for. The first one is as a package manager for Kubernetes.
That's what I was trying to say.
So you can think of it as apt, yum, or homebrew for Kubernetes. So it's a convenient way for packaging collections of Kubernetes YAML files and distributing them in public and private registry. Now these definitions may sound a bit abstract, so let's break them down with specific examples.
Okay.
So let's say you have deployed your application in Kubernetes cluster and you want to deploy Elasticsearch additionally in your cluster that your application will use to collect its logs. In order to deploy Elasticstack in your Kubernetes cluster, you would need a couple of Kubernetes components.
I can't hear it, Carl.
Stateful.
You can't hear it because it's too quiet, or?
No, I can't hear it at all. I can't hear it at all, even on the live one. And I don't know if it's me in Discord or what. I was trying to figure it out in the background and just not say anything, but I can't hear it at all.
Hold on. Let me see here.
See, I got 3 windows. I got like the 3 pop up.
Yeah.
And then I got you and me, where I can see what's going on, but I don't see any way to stop watching that one. If I disconnect, I'll disconnect the whole thing, right?
Oh,
or will I just disconnect from this one? If I might disconnect and come back. I'm not 100% sure. I'll come right back to it.
I could just. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Cool. So
okay.
Why don't
I'm back.
Okay. I will.
I got it. Works.
Oh, it's working now.
Yeah. Play.
Which is for stateful applications.
Oh no, I can't hear it. That's fine. No, I can read it. That's fine.
Hold on. I'm just gonna stop streaming and restart it. I'm gonna see. Oops. If I can. Hold on. Share my screen. Weird.
I think I was watching the live one.
Well, what I'm gonna do is turn my video off, and then I'm gonna. That's so weird. Bizarre. Oh, here we go. That's what's happening.
What's up?
I'm just bear with.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Here we go. Here we go. I think I figured it out.
Okay, watch. Clicked on it. I'm looking live. You
should be able to hear it now.
You will need a config map.
Oh yeah, you heard that.
External configuration.
So what was happening was I was sharing my screen with you, But what I needed to be doing was sharing my application with you. And that's what's happening.
I see, yeah. You want to restart it, or you want to just go with yeah.
In this video, I'm going to explain all the main concepts of Helm
it's not
so
on?
that you're able to use it in your own projects. Also, Helm changes a lot from version to version, so understanding the basic common principles and more importantly its use cases to when and why we use Helm will make it easier for you to use it in practice no matter which version you choose. So the topics I'm going to go through in this video are Helm and Helm charts, what they are, how to use them, and in which scenarios they're used, and also what is Tiller and what part it plays in the Helm architecture. So what is Helm? Helm has a couple of main features that it's used for. The first one is as a package manager for Kubernetes. So you can think of it as apt, yum, or homebrew for Kubernetes. So it's a convenient way for packaging collections of Kubernetes YAML files and distributing them in public and private registry. Now these definitions may sound a bit abstract, so let's break them down with specific examples. So let's say you have deployed your application in Kubernetes cluster and you want to deploy Elasticsearch additionally in your cluster that your application will use to collect its logs. In order to deploy Elasticstack in your Kubernetes cluster, you would need a couple of Kubernetes components. So you would need a stateful set, which is for stateful applications like databases. You would need a config map with external configuration. You would need a secret where some credentials and secret data are stored. You would need to create a Kubernetes user with its respective permissions and also create a couple of services. Now, if you were to create all of these files manually by searching for each one of them separately on internet, it will be a tedious job. And until you have all these YAML files collected and tested and tried out, it might take some time. And since Elasticstack deployment is pretty much the standard across all clusters, other people will probably have to go through the same. So it made perfect sense that someone created these YAML files once and packaged them up and made it available somewhere so that other people who also use the same kind of deployment could use them in their Kubernetes cluster. And that bundle of YAML files is called Helm chart.
Helm chart.
So using Helm, you can create your own Helm charts or bundles of those YAML files and push them to some Helm repository to make it available for others, or you can consume, so you can download and use existing Helm charts that other people pushed and made available in different repositories. So commonly used deployments like database applications, Elasticsearch, MongoDB, MySQL, or monitoring applications like Prometheus that all have this kind of complex setup, all have charts available in some Helm repository. So using a simple Helm install chart name command, you can reuse the configuration that someone else has already made without additional effort. And sometimes that someone is even the company that created the application. And this functionality of sharing charts that became pretty widely.
Just want to say something nerdy. So this new folder here on my desktop right here, it says Helm's Deep, right? Helm's Deep. That's a Lord of the Rings joke. That's an epic joke.
I don't get it. I'm not enough of a nerd to get that
there joke. Is
somebody.
One of the locations where there's a big battle in one of the Lord of the Rings books and movies is called Helm's Deep. And because the Helm seems to be pretty deep, that's where all my Helm stuff is going to go.
Yeah, see, I already know what they're going to do with this. I see where you're going.
It's the battle for Helm's Deep.
Yeah, you're going to write a fable about Helm, and it's going to be all of your understanding and learnings, but in Lord of the Rings
Like the Git parable. I'll call it the Helm parable.
Actually
I call it Helm's
contributors to why Helm became
Helm
so popular
is deep
compared to its alternative
I don't want to get
tools.
sued for copyright
So
infringement.
now if you have a cluster and you need some kind of deployment that you think should be available out there, you can actually look it up either using command line. So you could do Helm search with a keyword. Or you can go to either
so there's other people examples.
Public repository, Helm Hub, or on
but then you can use them. It's a repository.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Helm charts.
I get it. Same thing. Docker has something called Docker Hub.
I will put all the links for this video in the description.
There's links in the description.
Now, apart from those public registries for Helm charts,
put the link to this in the description.
When companies started creating those charts, they also started distributing them among or internally in the organization. So it made perfect sense
to say thank you, Tech World with Nana,
to share those charts
I've seen her stuff before. You should subscribe to her.
There are a couple of tools out there that are used as
that's a very good point.
Chart private repositories as well.
Subscribe.
Another functionality of Helm is that it's a templating engine. So what does that actually mean? Imagine you have an application that is made up of multiple microservices, and you're deploying all of them in your Kubernetes cluster. And deployment and service of each of those microservices are pretty much the same, with the only difference that the application name and
pause for a sec?
Are different.
Yes, I can.
That's that little code snippet. Mm-hmm. I looked at this all day, and this is basically what I look at all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Sit.
So what's your point? What's your point?
The thing on the side there, the YAML code.
Oh, that's what you mean. You were looking at YAML all day. I gotcha. Yeah. But not this particular code that was messing.
No.
Messed me up.
No. That's the structure though, and it's always the same. That's the thing that's nice about YAML. It's always like that structure.
Separate YAML files, configuration files for
as
each
you can
of those
see,
microservices. So you would have multiple
deployment they're just
service
copy and
files
paste, but
where
I get
each
the point.
one has its own
but it
application.
Just change a few words, a few numbers.
Defined. But since the only difference between those YAML files are just a couple of lines or a couple of values, using Helm, what you can do is that you can define a common blueprint for all the microservices, and the values that are dynamic or the values that are going to change replace by placeholders. And that would be a template file. So the template file would look something like this. You would have a template file which is standard YAML, but instead of values, in some places you would have the syntax, which means that you're taking a value from external configuration. And that external configuration, if you see the syntax here, .values, that external configuration comes from an additional YAML file, which is called values.yaml. And here you can define all those values that you're gonna use in that template file. So for example, here, those 4 values are defined in a values YAML file. And what .values is, it's an object that is being created based on the values that are supplied by a values YAML file. And
you want to know why I'm happy right now? Because my brain went, that's object-oriented programming. And then he said, so what's happening is, that's an object. I should have said it out loud. But
yeah, the same thing, the values and the double, there's a framework called mustaches.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I remember those things on the side there where it says values, contain your name, value, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
There was a templating engine called mustaches. And I just know, and it's nothing to do with mustaches, just a funny name. But they look like sideways mustaches. That's why they called it that.
Oh, I get it. That's funny.
Yeah, so every time I see those, part of my brain goes to mustaches.
Also through command line using --set flag. So whichever way you define those additional values, they're combined and put together in .values object that you can then use in those template files to get the values out. So now instead of having YAML files for each microservice, you just have one, and you can simply replace those values dynamically. And this is especially practical when you're using continuous delivery, continuous integration for your application, because what you can do is that in your build pipeline, you can use those template YAML files and replace the values on the fly before deploying them. Another use case where you can use the Helm features of package manager and templating engine is when you deploy the same set of applications across different Kubernetes clusters. So consider a use case where you have your microservice application that you want to deploy on development, staging, and production clusters. So instead of deploying the individual YAML files separately in each cluster, you can package them up to make your own application chart that will have all the necessary YAML files that particular deployment needs, and then you can use them to redeploy the same application in different Kubernetes cluster environments using one command, which can also make the whole deployment process easier. So now that you know what Helm charts are used for, let's actually look at an example Helm chart structure to have a better understanding. So typically, chart is made up of such a directory structure. So it would have the top level will be the name of the chart, and inside the directory you would have following. So chart.yaml is basically a file that contains all the meta information about the chart. Could be name and version, maybe list of dependencies, etc. Values.yaml that I mentioned before is a place where all the values are configured for the template files. And this will actually be the default values that you can override later. The charts directory will have chart dependencies inside, meaning that if this chart depends on other charts, then those chart dependencies will be stored here. And templates folder is basically where the template files are stored. So when you execute Helm install command to actually deploy those YAML files into Kubernetes, the template files from here will be filled with the values from values.yaml, producing valid Kubernetes manifest that can then be deployed into Kubernetes. And optionally, you can have some other files in this folder, like a README or license file, etc. So to have a better understanding of how values are injected into Helm templates, consider that in values.yaml, which is a default value configuration, you have following 3 values: image name, port, and version. And as I mentioned, the default values that are defined here can be overridden in a couple of different ways.
One can way you pause it for a second?
I'm pausing.
Yeah, so I use, so talking about a template engine, right? And talking about a value injection into template engine. There's a templating engine called Jinja. Jinja 2, actually.
The Jinja Ninja. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and actually that's their logo. Their logo is actually like ninja stuff. But anyway, so they have the Jinja thing. And what I was actually working on today was inserting variables into the template file, which is the same thing as what this is about to do. So this is all built in to the Helm tool, which is cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty neat.
When executing Helm install,
it's got its own templating engine.
You can provide an alternative values YAML file using values flag. So for example, if values YAML file will have following 3 values, which are image name, port, and version, you can define your own values YAML file called myvalues.yaml, and you can override one of those values, or you can even add some new attributes there, and those 2 will be merged, which will result into a .values object that will look like this. So it would have image name and port from values.yaml and the one that you overrode with your own values file.
Pause it for a second.
Alternatively, you can also provide additional...
Yep.
So this isn't much more involved than what you're doing for like your JavaScript applications.
Absolutely
when
not.
You're learning programming.
Yeah, when doing Python or JavaScript.
Python, JavaScript. I like JavaScript.
I like them both. I like learning JavaScript first helped me learn Python easier. It's easier to grasp.
Yeah, exactly. I think that, and the key is figuring out arrays, which is basically what this is. You're dynamically building your arrays.
Well, yeah, and that's sort of interesting that you can just use a new YAML file without. So if you've used somebody else's template and you're like, I like the first two things, but I don't want to. I want to use the newer version or my version like that you made. Then it just kind of builds it. So like this is obviously a very simple example, but I can
also
see lots
kind
of
of like
uses.
Photoshop. It's kind of like Photoshop with layers, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good analogy.
Additional individual values using set flag, where you can define the values directly on the command line. But of course, it's more organized and better manageable to have files where you store all those values instead of just providing them on the command line. Another feature of Helm is release management, which is provided based on its setup. But it's important to note here the difference between Helm versions 2 and 3. In version 2 of Helm, the Helm installation comes in two parts. You have Helm client and the server. And the server part is called tiller. So whenever you deploy Helm chart using Helm install my chart, Helm client will send the YAML files to tiller that actually runs or has to run in a Kubernetes cluster. And tiller then will execute this request and create components from these YAML files inside the Kubernetes cluster. And exactly this architecture offers additional valuable feature of Helm, which is release management. So the way Helm client server setup works is that whenever you create or change deployment, tiller will store a copy of each configuration client sent for future reference.
Talking about that before.
Thus creating a history of chart executions. So when you execute Helm, upgrade the chart name, the changes will be applied to the existing deployment instead of removing it and creating a new one. And also, in case the upgrade goes wrong, for example, some YAML files were false or some configuration was wrong, you can roll back that upgrade using Helm rollback chart name command. And all of this is possible because of that chart execution history that tiller keeps whenever you send those requests from Helm client to tiller. However, this setup has a big caveat, which is that tiller has too much power inside the Kubernetes cluster. It can create, update, delete components, and it has too much.
This isn't even my final form.
And this makes it actually a big security issue. And this was one of the reasons why in Helm 3 they actually removed the tiller part, and it's just a simple Helm binary now, which while solving the security concern, loses the release management feature of Helm, or makes it more challenging. And it's important to mention here because a lot of people have heard of tiller, and when you deploy a Helm version 3, you shouldn't be confused that tiller isn't actually there.
That'd be terrible.
Thanks for watching the video.
You're welcome.
It was helpful, and
Thank you.
Don't forget
we like to subscribe. Thank you for letting us react to your content.
But did you hit the bell? That's how you know they're bringing the heat. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
That's how you do it, though.
But basically,
now you showed everybody how to do that. So everybody do that to our channel.
Like and subscribe. Yeah.
Because you gotta suck up.
Yeah. If you want to go. Like and subscribe to the Cloud Brothers. Here it is. Oh, we got 11. We gained a subscriber.
Wow.
Yeah, we
have
11 subscriers, and it's maybe it was random. Who knows? But this is where you go. Maybe I'll put. Well, I won't have to put in the description because I'm gonna upload this to YouTube.
Put the description of the channel in the description. Have an inception description. It'd be great.
Description. So we've been going, I know we were a little late getting into it, so we've been going for about 45 minutes, I think. So we could, like, I did have the plan to do a little bit of solutions architect practice. after discussing Helm for a while. My brain's full of Helm.
Yeah.
So do you want to do a couple of questions on the AWS tutorials dojo, or do you
we can do, yeah, we can go
Okay.
another time. That's my,
reflect
it
some
was, we had some crosstalk in our setup.
yeah, there you go. So we're going to what is it, AWS stuff for streams, practice.
Oh, that's cool. And you were right about the lady that's the da lady, because she explained it a lot better than the other guy.
Yeah, because it's some people are just better at explaining things. She simplifies it. It's one of one of my things. One of my things that I'm good at is making complex things simple when I explain them to people. And when I learn things, I try to learn it well enough that I can do that. And that seems to be what she was doing. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. And the guy that I watched worked for IBM, and he got paid to do that video for IBM.
So
it was super overcomplicated.
Yeah, and probably old school, probably guy. So that's fine.
Suit and tie, kind of.
Well, that's the culture. All right, that's time to mode new. I want review mode. I says.
Says to him.
I says to the guy. I says. Review mode set 1. We should, unless we got dumped. Oh, we got dumped. Was it review mode we were doing?
I don't remember.
Oh no, it says resume quiz. It said start quiz, but then it changed. Sweet. All right, where are we? No, we only got 10 questions left.
Right. Remember the good old days when we did 65 and no.
Well, the streams went 3 hours, so too, to be fair.
Yeah, that was the whole. Well, it was COVID, the beginning of COVID. What the hell else you got to do?
Well, yeah, I can't go anywhere. And back then, the kids are going to bed at 6:30, so and sleeping through the night. A company has 3 DevOps engineers that are handling its software development and infrastructure management processes. One of the engineers accidentally deleted a file. What the heck
happened there?
I don't know. Like, it's super weird. You just disappeared on me, man.
Stream went away.
Yeah.
You stopped the stream.
I was never streaming. I'm never streaming. I'm just recording. That's very weird.
But I only see 2 windows now.
No, I know, but very bizarre. I know, like I see what you mean. What the heck? Okay, so I'm gonna do that again. Here we go. I have to move you down here. It's so bizarre, man. It just randomly kicked you.
Yeah. It's like, what did I say? I know I'm mouthy sometimes, but I'm pretty sure I didn't say anything.
Mouthy the Moutherton.
Mouthy.
Okay, can you hear the questions? Because I'm not reading them.
I can't hear them.
With your magic. Wait. Yeah, a company has 3 DevOps engineers that are handling its software development and infrastructure management processes. One of the, I said processes. I don't know. Is that how you say that? I don't know. One of the engineers accidentally deleted a file hosted in Amazon S3, which has caused disruption of service. What can, I'm going to say MFA delete.
MFA for sure.
Yeah, and versioning, so you could go back a version if you need to. I don't need to go back on that. I know it's right.
Yeah.
Simple question.
That feels good when you start getting those.
Yeah, I was explaining that to somebody at work. The product development guy goes, "How's the AWS stuff going? You're still learning?" And I went, "Yeah." And I said, "I'm reaching that stage of conscious competence when I know that I know, as opposed to
Before it was, what the hell is this?
Well, first, it like unconscious incompetence, was like the day that you called me and said, "You're good to learn the cloud." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that."
Yeah.
And then for a while it's conscious incompetence because you just don't know how to do it, and then you learn, and then you get conscious competence, and then like for that last question, that's pretty close to conscious unconscious competence.
Yeah.
So,
and that's something I don't even think about. So you're correct.
so that's what I mean. Like if I go, oh, somebody did this, oh, I'll just put on, I'll turn on versioning.
Why the hell was at first you go, why the hell wasn't versioning on?
Well, yeah, and then you
gotta crumble a little.
And then you go back, go back and fix it, and then you do your stand up and go, you side eye.
Yeah. What the hell?
So
come on.
MFA delete wasn't. I'm just kidding. I'd never side eye someone.
No.
A government entity is conducting a population and housing census in the city. So I'm getting loopy. Each household information uploaded on their online portal is stored in encrypted files in Amazon 3. The government assigned its solutions architect to set compliance policies that verify sensitive data in a manner that meets their compliance standards. They should also be alerted if there are compromised files detected containing personally identifiable information, protected health information, or intellectual property. Which of the following should the architect implement to satisfy this requirement? Somebody once told me to. Recognition is the camera thing, no?
Yeah, recognition is the camera thing. Is correct.
Oh,
does it say should alert the compromise? Oh yeah, that's Macy.
That's Macy?
Yeah.
What's Macy do?
Macy does what this thing is asking you to do. If you upload something into S3 and your credit card is in there, which is your PII stuff and your PHI stuff, it will make an alert to say, "Hey, you did some bad stuff." Well, if it doesn't say, I can't see because my camera's in the way. But if it doesn't say Macy in any of the other ones, pretty sure that's it.
No, this one says inspector. The bottom one says inspector. This one says guard duty. So I was starting to doubt it before you said anything about Macy. I know it's not this 100 million %. If it is, I'll eat my hat.
So guard duty, I believe you can install guard duty, but I think the difference is guard duty doesn't alert. Like you got to go look for guard duty is something that you go and look at, and Macy is something that alerts you. I think that's what it is.
All right, let's check. Oh yeah. It's a machine learning powered security service that helps you prevent data loss by automatically discovering, classifying, and protecting sensitive data stored in Amazon S3. It uses machine learning to recognize sensitive data, all the stuff. That's exactly what you said. All the stuff it shows in the question. And it continuously monitors, delivers alerts, blah, 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 blah. Chop, okay. Yeah, I'll remember that.
The only reason I know that is because a customer started using Macy right before I stopped working at that place. And it used to false alarm all the time.
Oh, that's
because annoying. even like a fake credit card number would trigger it because it's machine learning, right? And I'm not sure how you train it to go like, no, like this is not, like how do you pre-train it? Because you just got to take all the noise at first and then block them out. And then you might end up blocking too many things. And then what's the point of having it in the first place?
So, well, yeah, exactly. Right. So Yeah, I'm pretty sure when that stuff was starting to be implemented, I've had like my credit card because I go on a trip from like Winnipeg to Montreal and
Yeah.
buy something in a store with my debit card, and it and then the second place I go, I can't use my debit card.
Yeah.
That happened to me with like on the same trip with my bank card and my Capital One MasterCard I had at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Because you
was
can't
like
be in two places at once.
it was
Bastard.
2016. Well, because but I can fly somewhere in a few hours.
Yeah. Still.
You know, uh, oh look, he bought something at the airport, and then he bought something at the airport when a coffee when he landed. That doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that's the machine learning, not. That's the machine learning not being trained well.
That's what I mean, and that's probably what happened. I called, and the person was like, "Oh yeah, the computer did that automatically. I'm sorry about that. It's activated again, Mr. Mugford."
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. It's no big deal. It just was. I just found it weird at the time, especially not knowing much about it. Solutions architect identified a series of DDoS attacks while monitoring the VPC. The architect needs to fortify the current cloud infrastructure to protect the data of the clients. Which of the following is the most suitable solution to mitigate these kind of attacks?
I just move the whole thing over. Been trying to figure out how I could see this thing. I just moved the whole thing over.
Yeah, there you go.
So you know what a WAF is?
A what? Oh wait, no, that's something else. A web access firewall. Set up a WAF to filter, monitor, and block HTTP traffic.
I think. Oh, it's the DDoS attack. This series of DDoS attacks. Fortify. Well, only one of these things protects you against DDoS attacks, I believe.
Is it the one that has DDoS attacks in the answer, or is that a false flag?
No, it's a false flag. No such thing as a firewall manager. I think. I gotta be careful
unless that's the correct answer.
You bastards.
So two answers say DDoS attacks in the answer.
I think it's Shield for some reason. I think it's marketing. Shield. There is a thing. Web application firewall is a thing, but you're only monitoring and blocking HTTP traffic. How do you know which HTTP traffic to block?
Yeah, it's definitely not that one.
And then the security groups and NACLs, that's not going to prevent anything from a DDoS attack.
So like the firewall, like the question's not asking about SYN floods, UDP reflections. It's just asking about DDoS attacks. So that's giving way too much information based on the question. So that eliminates that one. Why wouldn't it be a combination of security groups and NACL to only allow authorized traffic?
Because those are only for IP access, and DDoS attacks usually go after like port 80 and stuff like that.
Oh, just the common ports, yeah?
Yeah, just common port.
Okay, so let's try this one. Do you agree or disagree?
No, I think it's that one.
Yep. Yep.
And so
nice work,
how I remember this was
nice play, Shakespeare.
DDoS, nice one. I remember DDoS was Shield. I just remembered it.
Nice.
Never used it. Never implemented it. Never saw it anywhere. It was just I need to remember. And I think if you read what's it say about the AWS firewall, and then just read the AWS firewall manager one, and then
is incorrect because it's mainly used to simplify your WAF administration and maintenance tasks across multiple accounts and resources. It does not protect your account, your VPC. against DDoS attacks.
Yeah.
But the other thing, AWS Shield Advanced gives you 24/7 access to the DDoS response team to protect against DDoS related spikes in your Amazon ECS ELB CloudFront.
Yeah. I think it's because it's not cheap. I think that you pay for that. And then the VPC the VPC one, although using combination of security groups and NACLs are valid. There you go.
Yeah, it's not enough to mitigate a DDoS attack. It's just not enough. It will give you some protection, but it's just not enough.
Not especially from a DDoS.
Well, especially if you remember in the question, it doesn't say one DDoS attack.
Yeah.
It says series of.
Yeah. And your engineers have to sleep at some point.
Word.
I think that's a good place to end.
Honestly. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Let's do the same bat chime, same bat channel. I'll edit out that part. All the flying monkeys came in and flew around the studio.
You leave it in, but you got to take it out for copyright reasons.
Yeah. All right. Same bat channel. Same bat time.
And as Christian Bale says, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. That's how I see it. All right. Thanks for watching. If you've been watching.